Hey, what's going on? It is Steph here from stephjking.com, coming to you from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. And yesterday I was sitting down and I was reflecting back on what has been 2018, and I started to think about all the cool things that I've been learning. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 awesome things that I learned in 2018. And stick around to the end because my last one is about what I've learned about money and it's pretty good. So watch till the end. So the first thing that I learned in 2018, which I thought was awesome for myself, you may not, but it was my life purpose. And to be honest, I've always known since I was a little kid that my purpose was to have a family. And I've always wanted to be a mum. I've always wanted to have kids. I was that little girl that couldn't wait to grow up and get married and have kids and all that jazz. But it wasn't until this year that I could say that out loud and not be worried about what other people thought. Because I was growing up and I was watching all these people that were dabbling in different things because they were trying to figure out what made them happy or what their purpose in life was. And a lot of the time they were looking at building their own empire, being an entrepreneur, getting involved in network marketing, building their own business online. And I tried to fit in with that crowd. And I tried so hard to find my purpose and whatever that was and whatever that meant to me. And I just didn't understand why I kept searching, even though some of the things I got involved in were really, really good, but I was just jumping from one thing to the next. And I realized it was because I wasn't being true to myself. So the day that I learned that what my purpose was, and I just had to be 100% okay with that and just own it, everything just seemed to change for me. And I need to thank Dr. John Demartini for that. The book, The Values Factor, is an awesome book to help you figure out truly what your purpose is and being 100% okay with that. And that's where I learned just to really own me and what I want and who I am in this lifetime. Number 2 is I learned so much about my body. And what I mean by that is in 2017, I had a bit of a health scare. So this last year, 2018, I spent a lot of time doing research on all sorts of stuff. Toxins in my everyday products that I use within the home. I was researching vaccinations. I was looking into natural remedies and natural alternatives to medication and what we are sort of grown up on around, always having to see your GP and being on antibiotics and just cold and flu tablets and painkillers and all that kind of stuff. So I did a lot of research into what that did to the body, both emotionally and physically as well, and then what the long-term repercussions were. And I think just having that knowledge and just being educated helps you make better decisions around what you want to do for your own body and also for those that you love, that you surround yourself with. So it just made me learn a lot more about me, my hormones, my energy levels, how different things impact me. And I did a massive overhaul of all the stuff that I was using in my life, from my cleaning products to my beauty products to the water I was drinking. And I started to track my cycle and knew what that meant for me in regards to my hormones throughout the month and even my energy levels as well. And that's something that just blew my mind. I can't even believe that it took me over 30 years to really understand this about my own body. I really think that it's something that we should be talking about a lot sooner, particularly for women, and understanding what all these different things can do to the body and also how it impacts just even our mood. The third coolest thing that I've started learning more recently is learning how to reduce the radiation in my home. And that kind of leads on from the second point, was when I was learning more about my body and hormones and all that kind of jazz. It also led me into the impacts of radiation. Now, radiation is energy that flows through space and material and can also be referred to EMF, which is electromagnetic fields. And these are the types of things that you can find around your computers, your laptops, your phones, Wi-Fi, power lines. So you can see that we are constantly surrounded by this. And there's never been any real in-depth research into it around what that meant long term for us as humans. So I've just started to look at ways that I can reduce that around me. And it's been really, really interesting, and it's easy to actually do, just even these little changes that I've been making. But I will do a whole other video on what I did. If that is something you are interested in, give this video a thumbs up or leave me a comment below and let me know that that is something that you would love to see. The fourth thing that I learned in 2018 was I prefer hardcover physical books over audiobooks. And I don't mean to say that I'm going to give up on Audible. I love Audible. I love getting a new book every month, and I love listening to it in the car or when I'm walking on the treadmill at the gym. But I just find that sometimes I don't absorb it as well as if I'm like laying on my bed or sitting on the couch with a book in my hand and I'm physically turning the pages as I'm reading it. And what I've also found is sometimes the books that I particularly listen to give you actions to do. Like they say, write this down or do this activity. And if I'm in the car, I can't do that. And by the time I get to my destination or come back home and I want to do it, I have to then try and find where in the recording that was for me to go back to. And to be honest, half the time I don't do that. I just listen to it and then I'll be like, oh, I should remember to do that later. And I never do. So I'm still gonna do the audiobooks. I love audiobooks. I think it's great if you're on the go constantly. But what I might do next year is if I really, really love a book that I'm listening to, I'm gonna go out and buy the physical book. And then that way I can sit down and I can reread it and actually go through like the activities and study it in a better way that I could if I was just listening to it. The fifth thing that I learned this year was there's always light at the end of the tunnel. 2018 saw a few really challenging times happen with me and my family, and to be honest, some of these things were really, really tough and some of the hardest things that we've had to go through. But what I found was I'm starting to get that little bit better and a little bit faster at looking for the positive outcomes. And I know that's really hard to hear sometimes because the things that we go through in life is devastating and traumatic. And I understand that, and you know, some people may not get this, but what I try to do, no matter how bad it is, I try to look for the good. And sometimes it's really hard to see it, but that's something that I've learned this year, is that regardless of how long it takes you, you will always be able to see, there's just no doubt that there is some good that has come out of that situation. And that's what I've really learned this year, is that I've gone from it potentially taking me years to reflect back and go, oh yeah, this came out of that. So whilst it was a bad situation, this good thing came out of it, and I'm kind of grateful for it. Now I'm actually doing that a lot quicker. I'm looking for the good. I'm trying to look for the positives within a matter of hours or within a matter of days. And I'm not saying I don't fall back over and I just go, nah, this is too hard. There's just nothing can be good out of this. I slowly start to, you know, calm my mind and come back to a neutral state, and I can see some of the positives that have come out of a really bad situation. Number 6, and my favorite number, is hustle just is not my jam. And hustle is just so out there at the moment. Everywhere you look, it's like you need to be go, 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 push, 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 no sleep, no time for eating, no time for friends, no time for nothing but hustle. And when I see people boasting that they didn't sleep that night, or they only got 3 hours of sleep or something, I just like think, you poor person, like that does not sound attractive to me whatsoever. So this year I learned I don't need to be hustling. I don't need to be in that flow of like go, go, go. So I've learned that I can take a step back. As long as I am true to myself and in flow, I can actually create some epic. The 7th thing that I learned this year, and this one's pretty cool, is that I'm an ambivert. And no, that's not a dinosaur, which it kind of sounds like it. It just means that I am a balance between being an extrovert and an introvert. Now, growing up, I was always like very out there. I loved acting, I loved singing, I took drama class, I performed at my school multiple times in acting. I was always wanting to sort of be that loud and really fun-loving and exciting person, and just wanted to be kind of like the center of attention, like always wanted to be involved in what was going on. And as I've gotten older, I've really noticed that I've kind of like started reducing my energy or my extrovertism, if that's even a word, and started to realize that I'm probably a little bit more balanced between being an extrovert and also being an introvert. So I love being social, I love being around people, and sometimes I can be super wacky and really high energy, and then other times I would just want and I need and I crave to be alone, whether it's laying in my bed and watching Netflix or reading a really good book. But what I've also realized is if I have too much of one, I start to go a little stir crazy until I'm able to balance it out. So if I have a really few busy weekends and I don't have any time to chill, relax, and be by myself, I start to find myself getting a little bit overwhelmed until I can have that time for me. And vice versa. If I have too much time by myself or I'm stuck in my home for some reason for a few weeks, I just get cabin fever and I just need to get out and just be around people and be social. And that's something that I've had to come to terms with, is that it's okay to be both of those things, and it's okay to be one or the other as well. And my 8th and final awesome thing that I learned in 2018 was you can make money doing anything. And what really opened my eyes to this was a book by Gary Vee called Crushing It. And when I was listening to that, because it was an audio book, he brought in other people that were just absolutely killing it online, whether it was YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and they were sharing their stories. And it just absolutely amazed me at what people were doing and just really getting in there and making a lot of money. And one of them was a guy created a YouTube channel with his son. His son had a school project that they needed to do, and they decided to cut open a football to see what was inside of it. And the dad uploaded it so, the family could see it and also the teachers at the school could see it. And for some reason, it kind of was a little popular. So him and his son kept doing it. This channel's gone on now and they have 6.2 million subscribers. And it's called What's Inside, and all they do is cut stuff open to see what's inside. And that just like blew my mind. I was like, that is insane, but I absolutely love it. And that's the great thing about living in this day and age, is that you can do whatever you want, and if you're consistent and you love it and you push it enough and you have the patience to wait, you can pretty much do anything and you could potentially make money from that. And that's the awesome thing about living in today. Like, how cool is that? Like, this is the world we live in now. So those are the 8 things that I wanted to just let you know that I thought was pretty cool. Obviously, I learned more throughout the year, but those are the ones that really stood out when I sat down to think about it. Leave me a comment below and let me know, what are some of the things that you learnt in 2018 that you thought was pretty cool or a little bit different, or you're just simply proud of. If you are new, then please hit that subscribe button. I will leave a link for you on the page here. I will also leave a couple of links to some other videos that you may enjoy watching as well. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.